Yesterday, Muzi told Baloyi that he needs time. He needs time to think about the answer and he'll get back to Baloyi. If you don't believe me, I'm going to play the clip for you, okay? But guess what? Muzi then came back today after thinking about it. Listen, when this happened yesterday, I'm not going to lie. Okay, I kind of side eyed Muzi. Like, what do you mean you need time to think about it? It's when Baloyi said, yeah, sure, how much time do you need? And then Muzi said, I don't know. I don't know how much time I need, but I need time to think about it so I can come back and give you an answer. And I said to myself, is somebody helping Muzi inside Pagati within the prison? That's the thought process I went, because it felt to me like he's buying time and he doesn't want to give the wrong answer and have it put on the record and then try to retract it later. So he just basically said, I don't know, I need time. So this is what happened yesterday. I'll be back, okay, with the rest of my commentary.
Dr. Sibanda followed up with a question, sorry. He said, but that version was put to Surgeon Mohola, sir. Your response was, I cannot speak on behalf of someone who said that. I'm saying that which I'm saying as I'm standing here now.
Namanje ngiyasho ukuthi mina kwenzakala ngalela la umhula wafika kimi wabuya wacela ukuthi ngimnikeze iphini yefoni ngifake iphini wafaka iphini wabuyela emotweni lena aye kuyo ukuthi lapha emotweni la aye kuyo wafika wenzani angazi ngabona imoto seyibheka eSoweto la zafika zathi masifika khona le eDobsonville bacela ukuthi ngibabonise la kuhlala khona uMagwaza.
I still maintain that Mohola came to me. He requested me to unlock my phone for my PIN, and then he went back to the motor vehicle in which they drove in. And then thereafter, I then noticed that the motor vehicles are headed now to Soweto, wherein we reached a Dobsonville location. Then I was told that I should point out where Magwaza stays.
Now, according to your version, after you had input your PIN or your password, you say Sergeant Mohola went to the Red Golf. Did she come back?
Angisazi ukuthi siphi isikhathi abuya ngaso asho ukuthi sebemtholile lo muntu lo oyinyanga.
I don't know at which particular time that she came back and said that they found that Inyanga person or that traditional healer person.
Noma ubuya semtime noma uthathe isikhathi kodwa manje ngesikhathi ngicabangisise kahle futhi mhlawumbe ngabuye ngunikeza answer ukuthi lo muntu wabuya.
It could have been that he came back after a short while or after a long while, but if you give me time to rethink and think about it carefully, then I'll be in a position to can give you an answer.
Ukuthi wanje nani into sebeyitholile le nyanga.
As to whether when she told me that they had found the traditional healer.
And nakhona lapho ngamtshela nathi mina ngazi lutho ngale nyanga ukhuluma ngayo.
And I further told her that I do not know anything about this traditional healer that is being spoken about.
Yes, how much time do you require to think about it?
Mhlawumbe isikhathi ongasidinga ke ukuthi ucabangisise kahle lo daba ngabe isikhathi esingakanani.
Anginalo ulwazi ukuthi ngicabanga isikhathi esingakanani.
I do not know as to how long I will need to think about it.
But you are certain that she came back?
Kodwa unasiqiniseko sokuthi uphinde wabuya futhi.
And she mentioned that they found the traditional healer or the Inyanga.
So guess what? That was how court ended yesterday, and then it ended abruptly because Ubongani Ntanzi, he needed to go for his 3 p.m. appointment at the prison clinic because he was not feeling well. So guess what? The court starts today, and Baloyi starts off with, we've got to talk about, yesterday we finished off, we're talking about Magwaza and Ntoni. But anyway, Muzi Sibia says, remember I said I needed time to think? Guess what? I've thought the thoughting, okay? The thoughtings have come back. This is what Muzi had to say in response, which also confirms my suspicion. He needed to go back and talk to somebody. There is somebody assisting, okay? Assisting advocate Muzi Sibia, as you guys call him these days. But let's listen to Muzi. I'll be back with my take on what's going on.
Right, Mr. Sibia, just a few issues outstanding from yesterday's cross-examination before we proceed with the issue of Mr. Magwaza that we were busy with before adjourning. The first issue is the vehicle wherein you were conveyed after being booked out on the 30th of May 2020. You'll recall that you testified yesterday that you were conveyed in the Nissan Qashqai. Is that correct?
Yeah, Nissan Qashqai.
Yes, it was a Nissan Qashqai.
And okunye ebengithe izolo ngicela ukuthi inkosi enkantolo ingeze ithuba lokuthi ngiyokhumbula kahle. So ngikukhumbulile ukuthi kwenzakalani masifika kulela lokhu la ngamkhulu.
And furthermore, I have made a request that this court grants me an opportunity to go and recall or make a recollection of what had happened on the day in question. And I have now have a recollection of what really transpired.
Yes, we will get to that just in a short while. Now, regarding the vehicle in which you were conveyed on the 31st of May 2020, firstly, Sergeant Mohola testified as follows on the 20th of November 2023 at page 37. And we read from line 12, Sergeant Mohola. She testified about the fact that she met you at Eraten in the company of Sergeant Mohani, and the state asked her at line 9, and in which vehicle was he conveyed in? Sergeant Mohola answers as follows at line 12. It was, my lord, I believe it was a white Fortuner. It was a vehicle, my lord, which was used by Sergeant Mohani at the time. So, Sergeant Mohola confirms that you conveyed in the white Fortuner.
I think there's a word that the state had read from the version of Ms. Mohola, where Ms. Mohola said, I believe it was a white Fortuner. I believe it was a white Fortuner. Yes.
Do you still insist that you were transported in the Nissan Qashqai?
Usaqinisekisa wena ukuthi wawuhanjiswa ke nge-Nissan Qashqai.
imoto engangihamba ngayo Nissan Qashqai.
The motor vehicle in which I was conveyed in, it was a Nissan Qashqai.
Now, during the trial, within a trial, when your counsel, Mr. Mngumezulu, led you, this was on the 5th of February 2024 at page 40, line 3, he says the following. So it's line 5. He asks you, so what happened on 31 May, the following day? Then you respond as follows. Line 16, accused 1. I then got up or woke up and then they handcuffed me at the back. Then line 19, they took me to the vehicle. Line 20, Mr. Mngumezulu, yes, what vehicle was that? Accused number 1, it was a Fortuner. Mr. Mngumezulu at line 22, what color was it? Accused 1, it was white. Mr. Mngumezulu at line 25, driven by who? Accused number 1, Mohani. So here, Mr. Sibia, you yourself said in the trial, within the trial, on the 5th of February 2024, that on the 31st of May 2020, you were conveyed in the white Toyota Fortuner driven by Sergeant Mohani. But you are now deviating from that evidence, is that correct?
Yebo, ungasho kanjalo. Kodwa iyafana konke okwenzakalayo yikho lokho okwenzakalayo ngoba ngisho. Into mhlawumbe ongathi phambene imoto engayigibela ukuthi we-try ne-try ngathi ngangigibela iFortuner manje ngithi ngangigibele iNissan Qashqai. Yabo manje ngoba ngithi ngangigibela iNissan Qashqai ingoba sengikhumbule kahle hle ukuthi iyona yiphi imoto engangigibele ngalela langa. Lesikhathi we-try ne-try ngangazi ukuthi imoto yayikhona ngile ngangakanabi isikhathi sokuthi ngihlale kahle ngikhumbule ukuthi iyiphi imoto engangigibelile ngosuku ebabengithatha ngalo uMhali.
You may say so, however, everything that has been stated here is what happened. The only difference is that during the trial, within a trial, I had stated that I was driven in a Fortuner, and at that time, I did not have a vivid recollection of what had happened. But I, however, now at this stage remember and had a recollection of what had happened, and I do say that I was driven in a white Qashqai.
There you have it. Muzi Sibia, accused number 1, went to prison yesterday, came back and told the court, remember yesterday I said I needed time to think? Well, guess what, everybody? I remember, and I'm ready to tell you the answer. And then Baloyi smashes it and says, yeah, we'll talk about that later. For now, I want us to get into the AVL records of the Fortuner. You said during a trial within a trial, while you were being led in the evidence in chief by your own advocate Tulani Joshua Nkomezulu, the late, may his soul rest in peace, you said it was a Fortuner. driven by Mohane, and now you're talking about the Qashqai, okay? The Nissan Qashqai. Qashqai. Now I don't even know what the car's real name is. But I appreciate the Qashqai because now I know how to spell it. It's so simple to spell it. Anyway, so I digress. But basically, what is my thoughts about the change in vehicles? It's how he says it and how affirmative he is. He says, during a trial within a trial, I hadn't given it much thought. I just said a Fortuna, it is what it is. But now that I know that life is serious and I'm seriously facing life in prison, oh, I'm a remember. And the memory has come back, and I'm not going to just sit on this memory. I'm going to tell you that because I've had time to think about it and I see the difference between the two cars, I am definitely putting it on record, okay? That it's a Nissan Qashqai. And then Baloyi is going to respond. But I want to hear your thoughts. What are your thoughts? I think, my lord, this is going to be in the judgment. This one is shaky. It's shaky waters. My lord is paying close attention to this. I don't know what he will decide, but from my end, the way Muzi is speaking, the way he is affirmative that it's a Nissan Qashqai, and the way that everyone seems to be denying this vehicle. So some of the things that I would possibly do to research is, when did Nissan Qashqai become there we go, English bundle gone, depleted. When did the Nissan when did the Nissan Qashqai become on the market? Or when did it start being on the market? There it is. I found the sentence. When did it start being on the market? We're talking May 2020, May 31st, 2020. Was it on the market then? Because I know it's a newer vehicle. So that's going to be the interesting point on what we find out. But you know what? I know you guys are fact checkers. Let me know in the comment section. When did the Nissan Qashqai become a vehicle in the market? In fact, let me just check. Give me 1 second. Let me also check while I'm still talking about it, because maybe that vehicle is 10 years in the market. I could be wrong. I'm not a car person. I don't follow cars like that. But let's find out, shall we? It's been on the market for over 10 years. 2020. Yeah, so it's been on the market since September 2007. Wow. September 2007. So it's not a since September 2007. So it was definitely on the roads in 2020. Now, then the next thing is the AVL. We know Baloyi is never going to provide that. It'll be interesting to see what Umnisi will do with this as well during cross-examination. Let's continue.
I'm sure we can show.
The Qashqai was silver in color.
Namanje noma ungasuka mhlawumbe uthola ukuthi la isasamba khona uma ungalandela i-AVL ye-Fortune, la isasamba khona uma ngathiwa uthola endaweni namakhamera, ingangiveza ngile Qashqai le ngisho ukuthi ngangiphakathi kwiQashqai ngoba sengikhumbule kahle hle manje.
If the AVL would be followed up, one would tell the where in which motor vehicle I was in. It would appear. I would appear being in that motor vehicle that I've just stated.
Now, the one other issue that you want to revisit is the reason why you were booked out on the 31st of May 2020. We have already referred to the evidence of Sergeant Mohola, but we further wish to refer to the evidence of Brigadier Gininda. This was during the proceedings of 28 November 2023 at page 12 from line 3. Brigadier Gininda testified as follows. They then arrived back. This is now Constable Munareng with this member as well as with accused number 1. That is now from Diplov. Then at line 12, Brigadier Gininda, my lord, they handed the suspect, accused number 1, to me. And I asked him if he was fine or if he had any complaint. He said he was fine, my lord, and there was no complaint from him. I further asked him, my lord, if he will still be willing to point out the following day. I was very specific, a witch doctor that came up in our discussion, and the answer was yes, he's still willing to do that freely and voluntarily. Then my lord indicated to him that Sergeant Mukhola with some of the members will come to him the following day to follow up on that witch doctor investigation, that if he should feel that he has changed his mind or he needs assistance or legal representation or whatever concern he may have, and then did not need attorney as well.
yonke le nkulumo ekhulunywa uGininda ingamanga ayikho
Everything that Geninda has said, it's a lie. There's nothing like that.
ngoba ngisho ukuthi manje banoGininda siwe noGininda eFosforas saya eDikloof sasuye eDikloof bangisa eVerali
I did indicate that upon leaving Phosphorus with Geninda, we went to Dikloof, and from Dikloof we went to Valeria.
namanye amaphoyisa onke ayikhona la ngisuwe nawe eFosforas ngaya nawe eDikloof onke
And all together with all the police officers that were present, we left Dikloof all together to Valeria.
mangisuke eDikloof bangise eVerali ayikho ke letho ekhulunywa uGininda lapha
When I was taken from Dikloof, I was taken to Valeria. All that this Geninda is saying, it's a lie.
and mina ngazani nanyanga le abakhuluma ngayo
And I do not know any nyanga that is being spoken about here.
Okay.
So here's Muzi's strategy. At any given moment, drop Gininda, as his strategy is to ensure that he highlights the inconsistencies of Gininda, make him a non-credible witness, and he does it consistently, and every chance he gets, Gininda is a liar. Gininda lied about this. There's nothing about that. Gininda is Mboto's friend, and so on and so on and so on. He does not miss an opportunity to throw Gininda under the bus, but I'm out here wondering, what's Gininda got to say wherever he is? I'm sure he hates every moment of it. But the other strategy that Muzi has is consistently deny, so that he is not admitting to be in the places where they're putting him. So, for example, I don't know Inyang, okay? I never had known a Umkulu, not even my own grandfather. Do I call them that? I save their phone numbers with their names at their old ages in my phone. I don't save them as Umkulu, so I don't know where this is coming from, and I don't know Uzwani. So let me know your thoughts if you agree in the comment section down below. But let's continue listening on. You already know Baloyi is going to either ignore him or he's going to come with facts. Let's see which one he chooses.
Now, the final aspect that is outstanding from yesterday's cross-examination, you mentioned, without being asked, about this fact that Brigadier Gininda and Lieutenant Colonel Mboto are friends, and you also attributed improper motive. Do you remember that?
Yep.
yeah
Yes.
In this regard, we wish to refer you to page 10 of the proceedings of 28 November 2023, line 14. Brigadier Gininda, Colonel Mboto, my lord, requested me to bring the accused at Dikloof or make arrangements for the accused to be brought at Dikloof, that is accused 1, at Dikloof, South African Police Service. And this is the passage that we want to refer you to. Furthermore, my lord, Colonel Mboto was not privy to this investigation, as he was never part of it, nor did I ever brief or work with him previously.
uKenan Mboto mina ngikholwa ukuthi uyazi ngoba wafika ngibuza ukuthi mina ngazi ngokufaka senzo
I believe that Colonel Mboto knows, because he asked me as to what is it that I know about Senzo's death.
Thank you.
ngamtshela ngathi angazi lutho ngokufaka senzo
And I told him that I do not know anything about Senzo's death.
Now then, to come back to the issue that we were busy with when we adjourned yesterday, namely the issue of Mr. Magwaza, you've just indicated this morning that you'd like to expand on what you mentioned yesterday. You'll recall that yesterday you mentioned that Sergeant Mukhola came to you with your cell phone, asked you to input your password. You unlocked your phone. She went to the Red Golf. She came back after using your phone and said that she got what she wanted. You said you'll think about how long she took to come back to you there in the car after using your phone, you can proceed.
Ngizoyiqala nje phansi indaba yami ukudibana nomkhulu ngaleli langa lelanga.
I'm gonna start it all over again or fresh on how I met with Mokula on the day in question.
Umkhulu sidibana naye eFosorus
We met with Mokula at Fosloras
kule ndawo kamasipala
at that municipal area,
engayibonisa icourt.
the one that I pointed out to the court.
Masiphuma lapha siphuma imoto ziyehla zibheka ngathi zibheka ngasesayidini laseThokoza.
Upon exiting that area, the motor vehicles were driving onwards or towards Fosloras. This driver next is Fosloras. This big singer is Fosloras.
No, Thokoza.
Noma Thokoza.
Ithi mina ngahamba zabheka ngasesayidini laseThokoza.
The motor vehicle, they driven headed towards the side of Thokoza.
Mazifika kuleli lokishi leli ngalazi ukuthi ngizothi lokishi bani leliya.
When they reach or got to this location, which I had indicated that I do not know which location is,
Zafike zangena lelo lokishi mayingena lelo lokishi zaseziyama.
they entered that location and then stopped.
Wase eyeza umkhulu kimi ezothi ufuna ngibakhombise inyanga esayisebenzisa amaqedwe ukubulala isenzo.
And then Mokula then approached me and said to me he wants me to show him or point out to her
Ngamtshela
the traditional healer that we had consulted after killing SENZO.
Ngamtshela ngathi angazilutho ngenyanga angazilutho ngokufaka senzo ayikho inyanga ayisebenzisa.
I then told her that I do not know anything about the traditional healer. I do not know anything about the killing of SENZO.
Wahamba wayemotweni wabuye sebuya nefoni yami.
She left to the car and upon her return she had my phone with her.
Wacela ukuthi ngimfakele iPin efonini yami.
She requested me to input my PIN on my phone.
Mayiqeda ukungena iPin efoni yami ivuleka ifoni yami wabuyela emotweni.
After the input of my PIN, she then went back to the motor vehicle.
Ngoba ngithe emotweni angazi ukuthi wafike wenzani. Kodwa ukuthi uzethola inamba kaMagwaza ngoba shuthi waphetha amafoni ami efonini yami.
As I've indicated that I do not know what it is that she did when she got to the car, but I believe that she went through my cell phone and scrolled on my numbers.
Wabuya weza kule moto lenguyo.
She then came back to the crash car in which I was in.
Wazongitshela ukuthi inyanga le abayifunayo sebeyitholile lesayisebenzisayo.
It's that stage when she told me that the traditional healer that we had consulted, they had found that a traditional healer.
Ila kwabe sengenwa emotweni sebebuyela emotweni sekhanjwa ke la ngibona sesingena khona kuphe Soweto.
It's at that stage that she returned to the car and then we left and then I noticed that we are now entering Soweto.
Yes. Yeah. But this is not what you said just yesterday. You said you're going to think about how long she took after she had gone to the Red Golf to come back to you.
Ebengifuna ukucabanga ukuthi wangitshela sesikuphi ukuthi useyitholile inyanga la ishona. Wangitshela sesekhona lapha ya. Akaze kube isikhathi eside. Noma ngangafakile wash kodwa akaze kube isikhathi eside. Lento afika yenza lapha ya wenza iphone mayenza iphone call mayeqeda lapho wabuya wenza.
It did not take quite a long time. What I wanted to make recollection of, it was the location as to where did it take place. So this whole thing of her taking my phone, going back to the car and coming back to me, it did not take a while. Yes, I was not wearing my watch, but it did not take a while. It did not take a long time rather.
And you state now that you believe that she scrolled through your phone, your contacts, and came upon the name of a traditional healer. Is that correct?
Uthi wena ke manje uthemba ukuthi wascrolla ke efonini yakho wathola ke lezo inamba zenyanga.
Sister angisho ngani?
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Nothing, I repeat, nothing gets past Muzi Sibiya. This man is on high alert, even if Ramasipili had not stood up to object, because all of a sudden, Baloyi is saying the traditional healer, but Muzi Sibiya didn't say traditional healer, he said Unzwane. So, no, not Zwane, Ungwaz. What is the name of the guy? Umakwaza. Yeah. Muzi Sibiya had said Umakwaza. And then, here we go. Baloyi changes it all on the record. Ladies and gentlemen, note to self, pay attention. Because this is how the record is being changed. Had Muzi not interjected or Ramasipili interjected, it would have gone on record that it was over there by the traditional healer. Oh my goodness. But isn't a Muzi a consistent person? He has remained consistent. I think we're now headed on 3 weeks. He has remained consistent on his modus operandi. He has remained absolutely consistent and he's paying attention. This might be absolutely exhausting. I can only imagine being in the witness box. And I believe he's standing, he's not sitting down. So he's consistently on his toes, and that is mentally draining. But this man is sharp, he's ready to go. He went back to think about, how long did she take with my phone before she brought it back? And he says, sorry, and Baloyi says, you said you wanted to check how long it took her to take your phone and come back. And he says, no, I wanted to think about where I was when she took the phone. And now I've remembered. So that's the answer. We were right there. So thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far in the video, please remember to like, to comment, to subscribe. Please drop a white heart in the comment section down below, because he remembered. Okay? He came back. He wasn't running away from the question. He came back himself and said, oh, hello, everybody. I remember. So I'll catch you on the next one. And it's going to be about English. Bye.